Okay, brilliant. Now, looking forward to my next special guest now. Just a little bit about my guest I'm going to bring on. A Northern Irish singer, songwriter in her own right, competed on a reality show in 2011 called The X Factor, and she finished in top fifth place. And she released a debut album called Hide and Seek, released in 2013, and after that, released a string of EPs and singles and second studio album Confessional released in 2020, bringing us up to date now. I want to introduce on my show the lovely Janet Devlin.
Hi, yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Well, it's fair to say you've had a very memorable and successful decade. I know you've had your ups and downs, but it brings you to here today, where we going to talk about, your latest singles. But first, I
Mhm.
just wanted to ask, how are you today, and where are you right now in the world?
Well, I currently I've got a pretty bad head cold, which is awesome. So I'm a bit under the weather, but still in good spirits. And then I'm tuning in from London.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, that's where it all happens. Capital of Great Britain, then. Also, I said in my intro there about a little bit about yourself, but can you just tell my listener an interesting fact about yourself and what you do?
Oh my God, an interesting fact about myself. Oh my God. Something that people won't know is maybe the fact that I'm an absolute horse girl. I was as a kid and now I'm back into it. Just a fun fact. And then what was the second question? Because I've gone blank.
So the second question is, like, say, what you do, like what instruments you play and
Okay.
musically.
Uh, Instruments I play really randomly. The Irish whistles.
Oh,
I'm pretty shoddy at guitar, but I can do enough to support myself and write some songs. I started off as a drummer, really, but I found out I'm pretty noise shy, so don't like playing that in front of people. But no, I play a few instruments, but mainly I tend to hire musicians so that I can, when I'm performing live, that I can just focus on telling wee stories and chatting to the audience and singing movie songs. So.
brilliant. Of course, the vocals as well. You're well known for being a singer
Mm.
as well. Great. Thanks for that. Also, you have some new singles coming out. Is this the sound you're trying to capture? A bit of like acoustic folk, country in places with your latest sounds.
Oh gosh. Well, the first single was out and out like rock country, and the second single was pretty old school country, so like 60s, like almost. I'm not saying it is, but people have said it is like honky tonk country.
Hmm.
And the album itself spans loads of different types of country music. Because I've been a fan since I was a tot, and I've always been a fan. And then I released my first country song 3 years ago, just as like a tip of the hat to where I'm going, to where I was going, and now I am. But I always had the plan to end up in country music. I wanted to use the fact that I got into the industry quite young to play around with sound and just do what I wanted to do at the time, knowing in the back of my brain that I was going to finish into country music and just stick in country music because I've got so much passion and love for it that I know that that's the one I wanted to do for the longest period of time.
Very nice, and it's always been popular, but it's good that it's getting the recognition it deserves. Country music. We just have to look at the top 40. A lot of
Mhm.
country artists breaking through. Brilliant. And speaking of country music, your latest single, "Country Singer," could that be based on real life stories, experiences?
Yeah, I mean, it is. There's kind of an overarching message, and then there's a story in it of I'm not allowed to say too much. My label will get annoyed, but basically, I dated a guy. I won't say when, but they had like a one hit wonder single in the '90s with one of their country songs, and that's cool and that's great. But I ended up dating this guy literally only for like a week because we were in the same vicinity as each other. And honestly, his absolute hatred for women inspired the song.
Hmm.
He was just insufferable on many terms, and I wouldn't have even lasted the week had I not been we hadn't been so close to each other. So I ended up writing this song about him to crack the joke. Obviously, Lord knows I won't date a cunt re-singer. That's the whole play on words with the song. But the overarching message, obviously, if the track is different, and that's just more so just not settling for people and lovers and partners that don't meet us where we meet them. Like we give so much and we get nothing back, kind of thing. And it's just about, I don't know, just stepping into my womanhood essentially, because I'm 30 this year, and really realizing that, like, I deserve more from someone than to just have a lukewarm lover as a partner. So yeah.
Cool. Just looking at the lyrics on the country singer, I'm not going to mention too much about the guy in question, but he comes across as narcissistic in ways.
I mean, every artist is narcissistic to a degree. There's a level of narcissism that has to be there to do this job, because it's like, oh, here's what I'm feeling, and this is what's happening in my life, and everybody should hear it. So I'm going to put it out to the world. It's a very, very narcissistic job, and I'm aware of that because I do it. But then there's being a narcissist in private, in settings where there's no one around, but for some reason it's still very spotlighted. And he definitely had that, because even in times of chilling out, it was like very apparent that all he ever wanted to talk about was himself and his career, and that's just not for me.
Yeah, thank you for just mentioning that, the meaning behind the song and so on. Just moving on, where did you record this track? Who did you have the pleasure working with as well?
Oh man, I recorded this out in Nashville in Blackbird Studios. We had a bunch of musicians playing on it. And when I look at their back catalog, like, they were playing on all of my favorite albums. Like every single musician had an album on their playlist that was like one of my all-time faves. So I felt very, very lucky to have them involved in mine. It was honestly a pleasure. Blackbird Studios as well is owned by Mr. McBride, who is married to Martina McBride, a big famous country singer who I absolutely adore. So we went out there and we did that, and then some of the vocals I did in Nashville and some of them I did here in London, because we recorded like 24 songs in Nashville. So to expect me to do that in a week, we did three days with a full band, and that's how we got 24 songs. And then I had 2 days then in the studio for vocals. So naturally I didn't get all the vocals done, because there's a lot of songs to not only remember but to perform well. So I'm pretty sure, no, I'm sure actually, I did country singer right here in the studio in London, office studio that my managers have, and my manager recorded my vocal, which to a lot of people that sounds a bit bizarre, but I've been working with my manager for like 11 years, and if anybody knows my voice, it's him. So we just had fun. We just had crack recording it. And over in Nashville, there's literally footage of me coming out of the vocal booth to properly listen to what the band had done, and I was just giddy. My face was so smiley, because they captured the essence so perfectly of just like a good time country song, because I wanted it to sound a bit retro, to kind of tip the hat to the country singer that it was about. So yeah.
Brilliant. No, thank you for answering that question. And what I like about your voice as well, it's got an individual style to it. I know you can hear like various influences from various artists, like say Amy McDonald, and Ellie Goulding. I know you looked up to her at one point as well, because you've done Your Song as well. That song will always mean a lot to you, the Your Song cover.
Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky that Your Song was mine, because when you do an audition and if it does well, like you that song sticks with you forever. So having Elton John as like one of my all-time heroes still to this day, like, I love his work. I love him. We share a lot of crossovers with recovery and getting sober. So choosing that song was probably the best decision I ever made, because I still enjoy singing it. So as long as audience still enjoy hearing it, I will continue to do it. Because he's just phenomenal. And somehow I'm on his PR list. I don't know how that happened, but I'm very happy about it. Like, he sent me his book, he invited me to his movie premiere, which was amazing. Again, like as somebody who's in recovery,
Mm.
seeing recovery, you know, being pushed on the big screens in a very tasteful way, is appreciated. So yeah, I'm happy to have chosen that song because it's a great bloody song.
Excellent as well. It also featured in a department store advert as well, John Lewis in 2010 as well.
It did, yeah. I did the Ellie Goulding version because it was in the right key and it was a piano. Whereas
Mm.
I don't have a, well, my voice has gotten way bigger now because I know that my voice has gotten bigger because you know, people comment on it more. Like I do a lot of like gritty singing, a lot of kind of growly stuff, you know, more tipping to the rock kind of thing, which I never knew I could do. So the comparisons of my voice are very different from where they were
Mm.
12, 13 years ago. The people I get compared to now are very different, which is cool because it shows kind of that I am like growing and changing. But yeah, your song was used for John Lewis and it was Ellie Goulding, and she did a piano version, which I was very happy about because I was like, I can use the piano version of the song. So yeah.
Brilliant. And moving on, your current single, Country Singer, follows on from Emotional Rodeo. Again, was that fun recording, you know, the whole process and writing it as well?
Yeah, writing it, I have a very weird way of working when it comes to writing. I basically make these big documents with like song titles or a song, it's usually a song title, and I research and I write down like a glossary of terms and I make jokes, one-liners, idioms, and I write a bunch of just a whole document on and then potential like lyric ideas. And then when I get to a session, I invite everybody into my document so they can see it, so that we don't have to Google in the room. And I've done all the homework and the what some may think is boring to research, but I love research, so it's actually worked out really well because now when I go to sessions, like we write a song in like an hour because
Mm.
nobody has to look for anything. But Emotional Rodeo, it was great. I worked with Ben Earl from the Shires, and I love the Shires, and I think he's amazing. And Katie Ray, who honestly is like in my top three favorite songwriters. I think she's unbelievable, and I love every single song that we've written together. So I think she's fab. The recording of that one was again unreal. Like the talent of the musicians, like drawing from like my love of rock music from when I was a teenager, and I still love rock music. I
Mm.
mean, I'm wearing a rock t-shirt, but I love it. Like they managed to so effortlessly blend all of my favorite influences that weren't country into a country sound, and I just think that like I just don't know how they do it. They're just insane musos.
Cool. And you know, Emotional Rodeo and then Country Singer, will these tracks lead up to a new EP or collection of songs?
Whole album because I did 24 songs out there. So I'm gonna do a whole big album and then figure out what I'm gonna do with the rest because I mean I wrote like 80 something songs for this album.
Mm.
And I recorded 24 is like, yeah, I have 24 songs and we're almost finished mixing and mastering. We've only got like 6 left to mix and master. The rest are, and then once I get those, I'm going to make like my album list and then speak to the label about like what he's want to do with the rest because, you know, there's too much for an album.
Yes, well, we will look forward to that coming out in the near future. Going out to previous guests speaking, they say like, you know, putting an album together, they have to make like loads of songs and then they chop it down to like the final product, don't they? So you like say 24 songs, you have to choose like cherry pick the ones you feel are going to make the album.
Exactly. Which I know that some people really struggle with that. They really struggle to cut their songs down because they see them as their children. Whereas for me, I'm like, that one's not as good as this one. This one's great. That one doesn't compare. Like I'm so cutthroat. I'm like, no.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I'm not precious. I might get precious over like one, and it tends to be like a ballad. And it's always because I'm like maybe playing it to older people or like a lot of men or something like this, where it's like this song isn't going to make sense to you because it's very female experience, and it's a thing that I know that all my girlfriends totally relate to, and I get that you don't relate to it, and I have to like fight for like this one little ballad or something, and but it always works out because like every time I'm always right. I'm like the girls love this little song here, so.
It's an interesting process, to say the least. Not many people appreciate what goes into the art of recording an album, the whole putting it together.
I'm glad they don't, but sometimes I wish they did because it's like, it's such a long process.
Mm.
Because I think people just think you go in and you just band play, you sing, and you just tie it in a little bow and put it out, and you're like, oh, I wish it was that easy.
Mm.
I wish.
And being into music, show business as well, into your second decade now, do you still get a buzz when you hear your song being played on the radio, whether it's like a hospital radio, community radio, or mainstream radio?
Dude, if my song gets on any radio, I'm excited. Like truly, especially with Emotional Rodeo, the first single, like it was really cool because it got played quite a bit, especially in Northern Ireland, where I'm from or whatever. And I was getting texts from my friends, being like, "I'm no offense, love, I love your song, but I'm so sick of it. It's been on this radio station now for like 2 months," and I'm like, "Yes, I want you to be sick of it. I want it to be out there." So I still get giddy because for a very long time I didn't get any radio play. Very rare. Also I didn't have the money for a video plugger, someone to like syndicate the
Mm.
song or anything like that. So um I think it all came to a head whenever I got on the big top 40 for 2 weeks with emo rodeo, and that was seriously surreal because in my 13 years of doing this, like nothing had made it to the big top 40. So having that was a real moment, and I just cried like a baby.
Ah, good to hear. And you've had testimonials from like editions, magazines, like 1883. They mentioned you're the Irish Queen of quirky folk pop. And then the Sunday Mirror says you have enchanting vocals. Just a couple of remarks there from publishments. How does it feel to receive nice acclaim?
Yeah, I mean, it's really great. I think one of my favorite quotes though for like acclaim was from Russell Crowe, the actor, who said, essentially he's like an ethereal forest fairy mixed with a dock worker. Like, or this, yeah, an ethereal flower fairy mixed with the straight talking nature of a dock worker. And I was like, that pretty much sounds pretty accurate. So yeah, getting any good
Mm.
press. I mean, I don't focus too much on press. I think I more so focus on like people. I've never been the kind of artist who's like, I want to be in this magazine and I want to be doing this and this and this. I just want my music to reach the humans, the people that like that genuinely want to listen to it, and want to say if they like something. Because like someone comes up to me on the street and says, "I really love your song for this reason," I think that means more to me, like because I'm very much a human interaction driven person than I would read something, because I think with growing up in this industry, it's put me in this position where like I don't take anything to heart from like seeing it in media, and that's because you have to protect yourself, because if somebody says something bad, like you have to protect yourself and go, it doesn't matter, it's just this, it's just this. But then that also puts you in this weird position where even when they say something nice, you're like, I still can't take it in. I don't
Mm.
know. But anybody listening to press or people is just a blessing, really.
That's nice to hear. I guess I suppose as time goes on, the more years you put under your belt of being in the music industry, you develop a thick skin, and then when you got the
Yeah,
compliments, it's hard to, it's hard to accept them.
yeah, that, no, for
Mm.
sure. I think because I've just always kept my blinkers on.
Cool. And you did a photo shoot, with your single releases,
Mhm.
to promote them. It looks like you're having a ball there, where we're having fun, trying like the different costumes and the cowboy hats.
Which one was this? Was this the
I
Rodeo
th
Bull?
Yeah, I think it was the emotional rodeo,
Yeah.
and where you were trying to capture, the country side of things.
Yeah, I mean, I got to work with this photographer called Molly, and she's unreal. And I find her because I was trying to find a photographer that could capture genuine female joy, um, which is sounds easy. Sounds easy to
Mm.
capture a woman looking happy, but she does it in such a true, authentic. I hate the word authentic, but like truly, like I am a fan of her work because the people being photographed, especially when it's a woman, like they just look like they're having a ball. And she's so fun to work with. And honestly, she captured a part of me that I had never seen in photographs before. So getting to work with her was just unreal. Like she's done quite a lot of the photos for this record so far. Because we work in bulks, we got budgets. So we basically I turn up with my stylist and my hair and makeup girl, and we take a bunch of outfits, a bunch of wigs, and I plan out all these shoots so that we have loads of different places that we can photograph to make it look like as many different photo shoots as possible.
Great. Just a couple more questions to go. So I mentioned about your photo shoot, talked about your album and various other things as well. I wanted to ask, being in like in show business, I like from experience myself, I know this myself, you're always like surrounded by like, giveaways and complimentary things,
Mm,
like promotions, free drinks. Um,
mm.
can that I know from myself that can be hard to turn down when someone when you're doing a gig, someone wants to buy you like a drink or something. It can be a hard
Mm.
position to be in. Do you have any advice for people who follow in your footsteps of wanting to be in the music business? You know how to live your life
Mm.
like with a balance.
Yeah, I mean, I lived my life with no balance for a very long time. I got very lucky though. Even when I was a heavy drinker, my band sure as heck weren't, and my team sure as heck weren't. So I was the odd one out in that scenario. Um, I mean, sometimes it's a rite of passage. Like sometimes you have to learn your own lessons the hard way. I'm definitely one of those people. I didn't have a problem with drinking till I had a problem with drinking, essentially. But I think the main thing is, and the thing I truly, truly think saved my life, was surrounding myself with good people, which is very difficult to do in the industry. And I did get burnt really badly once by being with the wrong people. But from then, it's a case of really trying to trust your gut, with who you invite into your life and on a tour or in a session and things like that. Like I've been very lucky that even my two musicians that I work mainly with at the minute, my mandolin player and my guitar player, they don't drink heavy. Like when we put our rider in,
Mm,
it's like 4 beers in the fridge, and they get a beer before they go on stage and a beer after the show. And if they want more, they're allowed to go and get more. But they rarely do. And I think it's something to really think about, that, especially especially early doors, like by drinking or using substances, you're not only going to be tired as hell, but you're also putting your immune system in a very compromised position.
mm,
You're also putting your mental health in a very compromised position, because in this job, especially touring, there's these big highs, and then you go back to your hotel room and you're on your own.
mm,
And that's already hard to do. Like like everybody wants to get a photo, everybody wants to sing along to your songs, and you're riding high, and then you get in the tour bus, and then you go to your hotel and you're on your own, and it's very easy to feel like empty and lost. And I sure as hell will say that putting a depressant into your system chemically makes no sense. So my thing would be, try not to drink until it's like appropriate to do so, in the
mm.
sense of like, if you go on a tour, one or two's fine. Wait for the last night of tour, and then go party.
Yeah.
It's not for me, obviously. I drank myself out of that choice, so I just don't
Mm,
drink at all.
mm.
But it's about who you put around you, and realistically, what are you willing to put your body through?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for being open regarding that. I know life is all about moderation as well.
Mhm.
Exercise and keeping fit, looking after yourself as well, and your mental health. It's essential these days, isn't it, to try and live each day um, maximize your health to the best you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Like moderation is key. Because I'm sick right now, and I know why I'm sick. I pushed myself too hard. I stayed up too late. Like in Dublin after party, even though I wasn't drinking, I'm still pushing my body by staying up to like 4 a.m. Um, and it's everything in moderation. Also, like being present in the good times is more important to me, and I think it's worth considering to people who are maybe pursuing this as a career, where there's so many great things that happen that I only remember half of because the drink kicked in. Whereas now, when good things happen and good vibes are happening, even at like an after party, I'm there and I'm present and I get to actually enjoy every moment instead of let's celebrate this great moment by forgetting this moment. Like,
Mm.
but
And
again, most people can do it in moderation, and
yeah,
I applaud them.
yeah, brilliant. It's all about creating memories, though, isn't it? Sometimes,
Mhm.
you're only here once. But yeah, no, well said. And where's best for people to follow you and keep updated, like, with your music, your socials, any websites, and any plans on a tour coming soon?
Tour definitely. Whenever I'm maybe out of the promoting singles thing, which I'm enjoying because they're like a lot of people are asking for like when's the album and when's the tour, and I'm like, hey, I'm having a really fun time promoting my singles, and I'm enjoying it, so I'm going to keep enjoying it. But there definitely will be, and I'm hoping for some tour support slots. Like I love being a support act so much more than I enjoy being the main act because there's so much pressure. But social media wise, I was an internet nerd growing up, so I'm on all of the social media, and it doesn't feel like a job to me because I have a fun time doing it.
Mm.
But my biggest platform would be TikTok, and that's Janet Devlin official. I have Instagram, which is great for keeping up to date on like the daily stuff and actually getting news about songs and albums and tours and things like that because it doesn't squash your views as much. I run a YouTube channel that not only do I put like my music videos and my live performances, I do like content on there that's not just that as well. And then I'm on Twitter and I'm on Facebook and pretty much if there's a social media, I'm on it.
Excellent. Well, brilliant chatting with you today, Janet. We remember you from, back in the day, but to
Mhm.
get to where you are now, you've gone through leaps and bounds, and you've created like you've carved your career in your own right. So it's
Thank you.
brilliant. I like a success story.
Thank you so much, Danny.
Brilliant.
I
Lovely
really
chatting.
appreciate your time. Lovely to talk to you too. I
Yeah,
hope you
lovely
have
to
a
talk
great
to
day.
you. Have a great day. Best of luck with this album. All right. Singles and
Bye.
then the album.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.